What did you say to her when this subject matter came up?
It's not the business you want to be in.
Big witness, big moment in Memphis, Tennessee today. That is the prosecution's star witness, one of the co-conspirators in the case, turning state's evidence in the murder trial of Lorenzen Wright. This case, to really understand it, I want to just go through the relationships of four people who are really the center of this entire story, what it's all about. And it begins with our victim. The victim is Lorenzen Wright. Here he is. He's a retired NBA star. Was last seen alive July 18th, 2010. He was visiting his children at his ex-wife's home in Tennessee. 10 days later, his body was found with bullets in it. Okay? He is the center focus. He is the victim in this case. Now, there's someone else, and we talked a little bit about her last night. The ex-wife that he was visiting, Shara Wright. Okay? She pleaded guilty to facilitation in this case back in 2019. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison. She's the reason, according to prosecutors, that Lorenzen Wright is dead, because she's the ex-wife. She wanted him dead. Now, there's someone else very important in this case, this trial, the defendant, Billy Ray Turner. Okay? Prosecutors say that this man, Billy Ray Turner, the defendant, was recruited by Shara Wright to kill Lorenzen for insurance money, and also intimated that there was some sort of a relationship going on between the defendant and the victim's ex-wife. Final character tonight, Jimmie Martin is his name. He is the cousin of Shara, the ex-wife of our victim. He's the cousin, the unindicted co-conspirator. He was part of this entire plot, but he's gotten immunity from it. But don't worry, he's locked up. He murdered somebody else as well, so he's locked up for that. But he, Jimmie Martin, is really the key witness for prosecutors in the case against Billy Ray Turner. They called him to the stand today. Let's take a listen.
After that, they get into a brainstorming session on, well, if we do this, how best to do it.
And is this at the house?
This is at the house.
Is there anybody else at the house?
I would say it was me, Billy, Shara, and a pregnant lady.
You say Billy. Who's Billy?
That's what I know him as, Billy.
Okay.
But
and how did you know him at all?
through Shara.
Through Shara. And did you know what his relationship to Shara was?
No.
Do you remember details about ways y'all talked about?
I mean, there was a lot of details, but yeah, I remember some details.
What are the details? I know this is 12 years ago, but what are the details you remember?
It was like just, you got to catch them somewhere where there ain't a lot of people.
Did you ever stand up in the middle of the meeting and, throw your arms up and say, this is crazy, I'm running out the door and going to the police?
No.
No. Did Billy Turner, did he ever stand up, throw his arms up and say, this is crazy, I'm running out and going to the police?
No.
And the pregnant female?
No.
And obviously Miss Wright didn't either?
No.
Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter joining us live tonight from Memphis, Tennessee. Chanley, great to see you. What was the reaction today when Jimmie Martin walked into that courtroom, or maybe kind of shuffled in, I don't know, to testify today when he took the stand?
Well, first of all, he walked in with a handful of extra bailiffs. As you mentioned, he is in custody for a different conviction, serving time on another murder. So those deputies sat on the front row of the gallery. It was noticeable behind them some more family members of Turner, Billy Ray Turner, the defendant, there in court today. That was interesting. However, they wouldn't speak to the media. But inside Jimmie Martin, it was almost as if he and Billy Ray Turner would make occasional eye contact. I can't confirm it, but it looked to me, sitting in the gallery, that sometimes they would almost have a stare down between each other inside the courtroom. And of course, then when the jury entered, they knew who this witness was. They know how important this witness is to the prosecution's case. They were leaning in, taking a lot of notes as he detailed this months-long plot to kill Lorenzen Wright, saying that Shira Wright, his cousin, called all the shots and that Billy Ray Turner was a key part of this conspiracy. And he didn't make it through all of his testimony. He's still on the stand, but a lot of damaging facts so far, including an attempt on Lorenzen Wright's life in Atlanta in June 2010. Vinny, that was mentioned today, but it was just a great detail that he was going through in describing what happened in those weeks leading up to Lorenzen's murder, and this jury was taking note of all of it. In the gallery, Deborah Marion, the mother of Lorenzen Wright, sat there. She was taking it in. She did mention to me as she left court earlier this evening that what she's heard so far, Vinny, is just confirming to her that Jimmie Martin had nothing to do with the actual murder, that he was a key part in the planning and the cleanup, but it was still Billy Ray Turner.
Okay. How about those coded messages? Is he able to explain to this jury and decipher these coded messages we've been talking about in this case?
Yeah, Vinny, that was huge for the prosecution because most of the day we had the cell phone expert going over those messages. So here we have Jimmie Martin corroborating the prosecution's contention that there were coded messages between him and Shira Wright about planning a party. For example, one of those messages from Jay Martin said that there's 300 USD left. The concert is in Florida. You want me to go to the party, adult theme, but the party has kids. When are you going to do an all-adult party, and how to plan around that? Well, here is part of his testimony where the prosecutor's walking him through messages like that, Vinny, and he's explaining what they were really talking about. Let's watch.
I was like, man, is it 21 and over, meaning don't have anybody around?
Okay, so you mean nobody around at all?
At all.
Okay. So you aren't necessarily talking about kids?
I'm talking about kids as in kids with it.
Okay. Could we almost replace that word kids with witnesses?
Correct.
No witnesses around?
Correct.
We got to plan a party without witnesses and how to plan around that.
Correct.
So again, he's telling this prosecutor, Vinny, that was a plot to kill Lorenzen. That was the party. That's what it was about. The equipment were the handguns and the money that they were exchanging back and forth. Now, he is going to resume his testimony tomorrow morning. He's still on direct. He still hasn't gotten to the part of the days and weeks leading up to the actual murder of Lorenzen in July 2010, Vinny.
All right, so that cross-examination still to come. That's going to be huge. Chanley Painter in Memphis. Thank you, Chanley. We'll speak again. Let's bring back in our think tank Renee Hill, Carmen Rowe, Molly Palmer. Carmen, he hasn't been crossed yet, but, you know, I'm watching him on direct, and he's not, I mean, he's a convicted killer, so I guess I'm not going to be impressed by him. But, you know, he's brought into this whole thing by Shira. It seems pretty clear that there's communications going on here.
Sure, Vinny. My question is, where was his cell phone? I mean, he's a convicted killer, and they gave him immunity in this case.
He was nowhere near there. He wasn't there. Wasn't there the day of the killing. He was planning it, but didn't do it.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think they have him on the ropes that they're giving this guy immunity, a convicted killer who will never be prosecuted for his role in the death of this victim. And I think that's concerning enough, but I'm going to wait and see exactly what they do on cross, because again, I think he could be, and very well may be, much more involved than the state wants him to be. And in this case, without him, they didn't have much at all. So he's a critical witness.
He's crucial. Molly, I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye as he was testifying, you were like salivating, just wanting the opportunity to cross-examine this guy. What is that cross-examination going to be like? Because if he had to face someone like you, I don't know if he lasts.
Oh, well, I'm flattered. But here's the thing. He is an incentivized informant, which is one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions. And whenever you have someone on the stand who's been given a deal of any kind, some incentive to do this, to testify, you get into that. And what Carmen just said, not just any deal, absolute immunity for somebody who has already murdered, the depths with which the crossing defense attorney is going to go through that. I mean, it's yet to be seen, but it's going to be incredibly intense for Jimmie Martin. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's supposed to be the bastion of credibility in this trial. He's their star witness. To me, his credibility is zero. And
Well,
that's what the defense is going to show
we prosecutors don't get to pick our witnesses. Our witnesses are always picked by the defendants, by the killers. All right.
Well, they picked that immunity, though. They picked
Yeah,
that,
well, we
that
had
deal.
to. He wasn't there.